Hello and welcome to the inaugural edition of Nationwide TV, your TV version of the official news magazine of the government of St. Lucia. I am Vina Frederick. On Nationwide TV, you'll be able to see and hear what's on, what's up, and what's not relating to the government of St. Lucia, the cabinet of ministers, government ministers, ministries and departments, public bodies, and all that fall within the range of government information. We'll inform you of what the government did in the past fortnight, as well as what's to come in days, weeks, and months ahead. Welcome to Nationwide TV. You're among our first viewers. That makes you that more important. And now for our headlines. In this edition, Petroleum of Venezuela PDVSA experts are providing positive insight on a recent visit to St. Lucia. The government of St. Lucia has officially declared a water-related emergency for the north of the island as that area has entered a drought. Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Kennedy Anthony mourns the passing of former Trinidad and Tobago President A.N.R. Robinson. The Adjudicator's Office now has greater powers in dealing with matters arising from the rectification of civil status records. PDVSA experts were in St. Lucia last week to prepare for the initial stages of the shipping of fuel under the island's Petro-Caribbean agreement. The experts' main objective was to gather information on the commercial and logistics aspects for the initial product supply.
The idea is for us to start, quote-unquote, the ball rolling. As you know very well, the agreement was signed. Since then, we have been going through the process of establishing the different aspect segments of the agreement. So they are here to get some more information so that they can go back and prepare the roadmap for the initial stages of the pumping of the fuel.
The experts met with local entities and stakeholders, as well as government officials. The meetings were described as productive and fruitful.
We met with people from Lucelec, finance people, Bureau standards, and we have talked about technical aspects that are needed in order to accomplish contracts and administrative steps to initiate the product supply.
The officials who met with Buckeye, formerly Hess Oil, said the discourse and interactions were positive. According to PDV Caribbean Sales and Marketing Manager Daniel Comereto, under the initial Petro-Caribbean agreement between St. Lucia and Venezuela, the island will receive a supply of gas oil, diesel, and gasoline. In response to public concerns, St. Lucia's ambassador to Petro-Caribbean, Aunt Alba, Hippolyte Eustace Vitalis, said St. Lucians and especially petroleum dealers can rest easy.
The intention is not to take 100% of the market. That is very important because a lot of the discussions that have gone around gives the impression that the government intends to establish private or government fuel stations. That is not the intention. The intention is to work with the present players in.
The initial agreement will result in St. Lucia receiving 1,000 barrels of gas oil diesel and 500 barrels of gasoline per day. The ambassador says in the future, the government will look to expand the range of products under the agreement.
It's of great necessity for us as a government to try to see how we can ease off that pressure on the general public as it relates to the LPG supply. The petroleum dealers have always indicated that they will be very happy to work with the government on that initiative. As you know very well, the government is subsidizing the purchase of LPG to the general public.
The ambassador asserts the intention is for PDVSA to occupy only a small segment of the market rather than dominate it. Low rainfall, diminishing water reserves, and an approaching drought have forced the government to officially declare a water-related emergency for the north of the island. Affected residents are being advised to better manage their water. The emergency was declared on the 8th of April pursuant to Section 10 of the Water and Sewage Act and covers an area stretching from Bexar on Mac in the east to Roseau in the west and to Cap Estate in the north. The Water and Sewage Company, WASCO, says consumers in the affected areas should start rationing water and to conserve during this emergency period. Information from the water company indicates that water levels in the Roseau Dam are currently 40 inches below the spillway. During the water emergency, residents are asked to stop using tap water for wasteful purposes. Drinking water from Wasco's pipes must not be used for washing of vehicles, watering lawns or gardens. Activities that may cause contamination of water sources, such as washing vehicles in rivers, are also strictly prohibited during the emergency. Wasco has already embarked on emergency measures, including repairing and bringing back online water intakes earlier decommissioned due to damage. Wasco is also activating mobile water treatment plants that can be rapidly deployed where needed. The government encourages all citizens, and particularly those who live in the north of the island, in the area covered by the emergency declaration, to be extremely prudent with their use of water and to avoid wasting this very precious resource. Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Kennedy Anthony says Trinidad and Tobago and the region have lost a great son. This comes on the passing of His Excellency A.N.R. Robinson, the only individual to have served as President, Prime Minister and Opposition Leader of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. More from Raisa Joseph.
According to Dr. Anthony, his was a tireless journey in the pursuit of justice and equality for all. In that regard, he was among the strongest advocates for the formation of the International Court of Justice, a role which gave him international recognition. In July 1998, at the hosting of the Caribbean Community's 25th Heads of Government meeting in St. Lucia, His Excellency Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson was conferred the region's highest award, the Order of the Caribbean Community, OCC, in recognition of his sterling contribution to the regional movement. As Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, His Excellency was taken captive during a sitting of the House of Representatives when the Jamaat al-Muslimin attempted to stage a coup in 1990. Dr. Anthony said Trinidad and Tobago and the region have lost a great son, one whose reputation and influence went beyond the narrow confines of local and regional politics and instead reverberated throughout the world. The Prime Minister expressed deepest condolences on behalf of the people and government of St. Lucia to His Excellency's family and to the government and people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The former Trinidad and Tobago president died on Wednesday, April 9th, after a prolonged illness. He was 87. For Nationwide TV, I am Raisa Joseph reporting.
The future looks better for doing business at the Civil Status Registry. Among other things, government has given the Adjudicator's Office greater powers in matters relating to the rectification of civil status records. The new changes promises to provide relief to citizens and expedite the rectification process. Marilyn Hyacinth brings us this report in Creole.
Mardi li 1er avril en kay Parlement, gouvernement jouen approbation pour bay office adjudicateur, ça vle di, c'est officier di loi en département au Guelf, pli pouvoir pour faire changement, en les ouais à sous information qui ka bay détail à sous position civile citoyen, con, baptiste, certificat de mariage.
Says the registrar may, at the instance of an applicant or at his or her instance, rectify a clerical error in a record of civil status. So we are empowering the registrar to take the decision and to do so on the basis of a rectification.
Yo kay sa fait changement si la ni le wè kon, si moun lan se yon nom et ben yon femme, ça vle di sexe, le wè en date naissance, le wè en numéro registration, le wè en date di registration, et puis l'autre le wè qui peut fait pendant ces officiers a préparé ces certificats.
It says, there shall be a registrar of civil status, as I indicated earlier, deputy registrars of civil status, and assistant registrars of civil status. It is recognized that this is an expanded role, expanded function, and I believe I am on record as indicating very clearly the time has come for us to decentralize these records, and this idea that somehow all citizens must come to Castries to sort out their records, that must give way to a decentralized system.
Premier ministre l'a dit ki gouvernement ni intention pour établir département service au Guelf en sud pays pour faire plus à l'aise pour ses habitants en ces communes là. Démarche ça là qui gouvernement Japon kay essayer résoudre qualité problème là qui département ka expériencer. Pour télévision Nationwide, moi c'est Marilyn Hyacinth.
The future of science and technology looks promising, with students submitting more projects demonstrating creativity and application to the island's existing problems. This good news comes out of the 9th Annual Science and Technology Fair. A total of 40 new projects were on display in Castries at the Friday 2014 Science and Technology Schools Fair, a new record number according to the organizers of the fair, which took place earlier this month. The organizers say this year's 40 projects represented a considerable increase from last year, when only 28 qualified for the exhibition at the national event. This year, there were 15 projects from primary and infant schools, 20 from secondary schools, and 5 from the island's tertiary institutions. Let's hear from the man in charge, Mutilal Singh, curriculum specialist at the Department of Science and Technology at the Ministry of Education's Curriculum and Materials Development Unit.
The youth are our future, and we need to develop that creative, innovative potential in them so they can be problem solvers, not in the school alone, but for the environment, climate change, everyday happening. These are the ones. And if you can help to solve problems, I believe they'll become better citizens of St. Lucia. And we can have a better, beautiful country.
The Blanchard Combined School captured the best overall project for their innovative creation, a flood-proof floating bridge. The Blanchard School also won the first prize in the category of Science and Technology. Other winners included the Viewford Post-Secondary School with its true or false logic game. That project won the prize for the best individual project.
Everything we do is scientifically based. Science is involved. We understand our world better because persons have spent time making discoveries, looking at things that we did not understand before.
This year, the organizers chose a more publicly accessible venue for the annual event, the Derek Walcott Square. The 2014 School Science and Technology Fair was hosted under the theme, Young Minds Working Together to Meet Global Needs Through Science and Technology. Non-banana farmers from throughout the island who were affected by the December drought have begun receiving Moroccan fertilizers to help in recovery efforts. Approximately 3,200 bags of fertilizer were donated to the Department of Agriculture through the assistance of the government of Morocco under the post-drought recovery program. Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Moses Jean-Baptiste, during a donation ceremony held in the Mabuya Valley, expressed gratitude to the government of Morocco while urging farmers to make optimal use of the fertilizers. A follow-up batch under Morocco's assistance is already en route to St. Lucia to ensure all deserving farmers benefit under the program. Meanwhile, some 200 additional bags of fertilizer were also donated to the sector by the Food and Agriculture Organization towards the recovery efforts. 200 more participants of the Single Mothers in Life Enhancement Skills Program, SMILES, are now certified in life skills training. They graduated with certificates in technical and vocational training issued by the National Skills Development Center last week.
I wish I could translate to you the very special pleasure that I feel and emphasize to you as well what the lessons of this program have been for the future.
Thank you for tuning in to the first edition of Nationwide. See you in the next fortnight as we take you on a ride nationwide.